A lot of you've probably heard of Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was one of the most popular games in the 80s, and in 2017 I recreated it and put my own twist on it. And 6 years later, my mission was to recreate my own game. So let's get into it. So back in 2017, I made a simple game from scratch using Phaser.js. It was called ENIAC Attack, named after the first ever computer. The aim of the game was to avoid obstacles and reach the bug before it enters the computer. This game only had one level, no menus, animations, or even sound effects. It was like the silent movie of the gaming world. But hey, we all start somewhere, right? Well, drum rolls please! After 6 years of tinkering, learning, and a fair share of head-scratching moments, I've unleashed my inner mad scientist and remastered my game. Oh, you really thought I was gonna reveal the game in the first 30 seconds of the video? Well, just sit around and see how it looks like. Trust me, it's gonna be a fun video. Okay, if I'm not gonna reveal the game, might as well let you know the idea of the revamped version and how it would be. Well, I've ramped up the excitement with 6 insanely difficult levels only a true gamer would pass. Each level contains 3 items you need to collect. These items are themed around computer parts such as GPUs, RAM, CPUs, and more. It's like your computer wishlist from Amazon, but in game form and less expensive. I mean, like, come on, seriously? $2,000 for this? Oh, never mind, I'm getting sidetracked again. Where was I? Oh yeah. Your mission as the player is to collect 3 items in each level and grab a key and locate the exit to finish the level. Alright, enough chit chat, let's get into making the game. One thing the previous game lacked was a UI, so I began brainstorming ideas for the main menu and designed it using Figma. Once I designed the UI for the main menu, I started importing it into Unity. But I noticed that the main menu looked a bit static, so I wanted to add an infinite scrolling background to the menu and the game itself. After that, I started working on the platforms and the player movements. I used Unity's tile map editor for the platforms and wrote some simple code for the player's movements. This was much easier than it was 6 years ago. Mostly because of ChatGPT, but we don't talk about that. The next thing on the list was camera movement, which was probably the easiest thing I can add to this game. Everything else gave me headaches. Many headaches. But anyways, now it was on to some of the UI seen in the level, like the pause button, health, and items collected. And after adding a few more UI elements, I started working on some of the key features such as item collection, spike damage, and key collection, which was relatively easy because all I had to do was check if the player has collided with any of the items with a specific tag, for example a spike or an item. Once I added the core features to each level, I started working on the unlock level feature. However, this turned out to be more challenging than I thought, because it was my first time storing and managing data locally. Now it was time to do the part I dreaded the most: level design. Coming up with obstacles and paths for the character to go through was seriously tough for me. But after putting a solid week and a half worth of work, I proudly had a set of 6 complete levels. But it turns out the levels were more difficult when I tested them out, so I had to go back again and dial down the difficulty a notch. The game had progressed well at this point, but it lacked dynamic obstacles. To address this, I introduced enemies that spawned rolling errors, where colliding with these errors would cause players to lose a life. Despite these improvements, the game's graphics were still in development stage. Realizing the need for a visual upgrade, I shifted my focus from feature development to asset creation. So I opened up Aseprite and started conjuring up some cool assets for the spikes, enemies, platforms, items, and more. Overall aiming to elevate the game's overall aesthetic. And at this point, it looked like a AAA game. I mean, like, look at it compared to Spider-Man. They look pretty much the same, don't they? Okay, moving swiftly on from that take. As the game neared completion, I noticed it was missing some liveliness, so I started sprinkling some sound effects throughout the whole game. I also introduced a cool settings screen where players can fine-tune sound effects and background music, which is something I learned along the way making this game. And finally, after 3 months of development, it was 99% complete. The only thing missing was good lighting, so I tinkered around with the Unity rental pipeline and added some nice lighting which made the game really come together. And finally, we're done! So I present to you the final product. While making this game, I learned a lot that I didn't know 6 years ago, and this game was a test on my skills in game development, albeit a quite simple game, but it was a really good experience. If you'd like to try this game out for yourself, currently it's only available on the Google Play Store for Android users, but hopefully soon it will be available on the Apple App Store as well. And if you do try out the game, please let me know how you did, because it's quite a difficult game, so if you're able to finish one level, let me know in the comment section below and how you did and if you raised on any other parts. I had a hard time completing some of the levels levels myself, but they are possible. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video by commenting, liking, and subscribing. If you haven't, it helps a lot. And don't forget to turn on notifications because you get notified every time I upload a video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye!